are you regarded to be internationally recognized?
I want to repeat what I said earlier on. It's a peer review system. The NRF doesn't prescribe that. That's what your reviewers say. These are low journals. For instance, there's a journal called it's published in the Ukraine, Management and Control, something Management and Control. Corporate Ownership and Control, it's called. It's published in the Ukraine. If you send a paper in on Friday, I think by Monday they will tell you that it's been accepted. And but here's the invoice. Now, the panel knows that. I've seen it in my own eyes how an international reviewer said, half this guy's publication is in corporate ownership and control. It's a poor journal, it is, and therefore I do not support this application. So I cannot answer that question. The NRF cannot answer that question. It depends on your reviewers. They say, you publish in good international journals, that is what is a good international journal. I cannot answer your question. It's a peer review. Ernest?
Prof, Christo, can I ask about the other stuff that you mentioned in that one slide? Would you consider textbooks, writing textbooks with chapters in textbooks, like you mentioned in the first half when I was not here?
Oh.
Do you guys recognize textbooks as research?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Short answer. It's not me, it's the system. Well, a textbook in my view is not research. It's not new research. Well, prescribed to students, yeah. Yeah.
So if you write a book that's not prescribed to students, but that's focused on a particular aspect, I'm from law, so I don't know where it will make a difference.
Yeah, I don't know what happens in the law panel. Yeah. They may have a different idea.
Textbooks is for students.
Yeah, no.
That students use in the course.
Yeah, by textbook I mean a book that's prescribed to students for use in a module course. Well, yeah, sort of. Yeah. Wag vir Dasie. Arin?
I'm not sure what's the view of the panel in terms of editing books. When you have a book where you make different contributors and there's a peer review process, to what extent does the committee consider that as scholarly contributions?
No.
Even things like a new work that's
Well,
work that's not even been published before.
Well, it's difficult to answer that question. Again, it is judged by the reviewers. If they think that you wrote a book that is genuinely new, makes a contribution, and possibly regarded as research, and say so in the reports, then it will not be disregarded by the panel. But they will be very skeptical about books because it doesn't fit the definition of new research making a contribution.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I want to know, does it matter to be a leading author or to be just a co-author?
Oh, of a research paper?
Yes.
Yeah. It's always better. There was a saying that my colleagues in New Zealand used to use. It's not too bad to be number 2, but not too often. So it's over a period of 8 years, you should at least sometimes be the first author or do self-initiated research. But if you have 10 publications and you're the second author 5 times and 5 times you're the first author, I don't think there's a problem. But you can't be second and third all the time, because then they say, well, do you fit the requirement of a leader in your field if you're always second or third? So, yeah, that's the best answer I can give you. Not too often.
So I just want to know, you have to nominate 6 reviewers.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to contact them beforehand and brief them and tell them what's the job and use?
No, I think that would be seriously unethical. Especially to tell them to use certain jargon or certain words. No, I don't think.
But if they do not know the system, people who don't know,
yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the NRF's position is. Someone who at Stellenbosch who did attend one of their sessions said you may contact them, you may alert them that, but I'm speaking under correction, that you may alert them that they may receive a request to participate. I don't think that is a problem. So if you bumped into someone at a conference, national conference, and say, I've nominated you to be on my panel, they may contact you. They want to know about my standing as a researcher. I don't think that's a problem. But to sort of prime them to use certain terminology or words, I don't think this would be ethical, no, my view. Yep.
Prof, I'm specifically thinking of the younger researchers, who haven't completed their PhD in the last, let's say, 5 years, and just trying to get into the system. Yes. Would you still suggest that they rather wait to go for the C category, or would you suggest that they go, for example, the P or the Y, just to get into the system?
Well, again, it's very hard to say, but I would rather do the P and the Y thing than nothing. So, yeah, I think to get into the system and get some recognition and start to understand the system and work towards something better, yeah, rather that than nothing, yeah, I would say yes.
Thank you. I understand that there are some of the local journals which are very good and they might be internationally recognized. So if ever I only published in the national or the local journals, would still that be okay with me?
I'm not sure I got the question. You want to know whether it's okay to publish in local journals?
Yes, in case where I won't publish in the local journals.
Yes.
Will still be okay with me if I don't have any international journals published in.
Okay, if you publish only in local journals, you're probably excluding yourself from a C2 and a C1. But you can certainly be in the other categories. C3 certainly, and Y, yes. So, but to get to C2 or C1 or above that, you need to publish in decent international journals. Yep.
Dus misschien in de laatste vraag van mij. Kijk even naar die zogenaamde impactfactor. Omdat het eigenlijk was maar een Thomson's ding is en dan het IBSS journalen, wat eigenlijk de tijd baie goeie journalen is, eigenlijk dan nie een zogenaamde impactfactor. So kijk jy oor daar op, is het maar weer in die nieuwe ding.
Het is meest, oké, moet ik maar misschien Engels antwoord. Nee, it's essentially a reviewer thing. What sometimes happens, we would sit and say, now is this a C2 or a C3? Now remember, C2 has an international requirement. So then we'll say, well, doesn't this guy or applicant have enough international recognition in the reports to make it a C2, or is there not? Then it must be a C3. Then we would look at the bibliometrics, and if the bibliometrics says 000, then we say no. Well, this can't be. There cannot be any international recognition if your bibliometrics are 000. So that's where we in the panel, we don't. When we sit on the borderline with an applicant in terms of B2 and B3. Then we have a look at the bibliometrics, but the NRF doesn't really like that. But it's only when it's really a on-the-line decision that we have a look at the bibliometrics.
We can maybe have one more question. So there back.
While he's getting there, and I hope I'm allowed to say this, the economics guy who got the A rating, he has a bibliometrics of 50% of some of the B-rated researchers. Okay, but the peer review said, this guy is tops. He's absolute expert he's a leading international academic. His bibliometrics are, okay, I'm going to put a figure to it, 5. And there are B-rated research, B3 rated researchers with 10. Why? But what's the difference? Why the inconsistency? And that's why often the perceptions about the system are driven by criteria that are not part of the peer review system. So people will look and say, yeah, look here, this guy has a bibliometrics of whatever, and he's only a C3, a C1. The other one has half of that and is rated higher. Why? Because the peer review report said this guy is a leading international expert in the world on this topic. And that's the reason. Yep.
Yes, I don't just understand this international thing, because it seems as if you look at where the journal is based.
I don't, the panel doesn't, the NRF doesn't, the peers do.
Yes, my thinking into this is that they first look at where the journal is. If I say South African journal, and then I publish 5 of my titles or 8 of my articles in that journal, then I cannot get the other rating, because the journal is only based in South Africa.
Yeah, see, the problem with that is not so much, see that with the system it's not so easy to draw the hard lines, but if you need international recognition and all your journals are published in South Africa and the international academic community doesn't read your journals, an international reviewer cannot rate you basically.
If every journal is published in South Africa, does it mean that the person who's in Europe cannot read it?
No, I'm not saying that, but it's highly unlikely.